not know you were here? Did I completely forget?
Check, check. Sound check. Thank you.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, they turned on the mics.
Good
oh God.
morning, everyone.
Oh boy.
Hello.
Hello.
Let's settle. We're here to hang out and have a nice time. It's Sunday. Everybody's a little
And
sleepy.
the clock is ticking.
Thank you for joining us for Strong Female Character, everybody. Yeah, this is a panel not at all about writing for fiction or character concept art. We are not going to explain a made-up list of requirements or share a secret recipe which awards the ineffable label Strong Female Character. This is instead about real femme creators and professionals working within games and the content industry, and our panelists who are achieving amazing accolades and working really hard to make art and experiences for others, and all too often working twice as hard for half the recognition and respect they deserve. So, I'm Natalie. I'll be your moderator. I am the creative director and producer editor at the Storyteller Squad, which is a Monster of the Week actual play series, a modern high fantasy set in the Pacific Northwest. You may have seen my booth in the expo hall with all the trees and cryptids. We are at 12081 if you want to swing by and meet my cast and staff later. Let's start at the end of the table and we'll introduce our panelists.
Oh, hi. Well, hello there, everyone. My name is Maisie Lynn. I'm a content creator, a full-time Twitch streamer, and your new dad. I am so proud of you, kiddo. You're doing great. I get up to some silly, goofy shenanigans, and I try to make you laugh, especially on the days where laughter is a little bit harder for you to get. Yeah, and drink your diddly darn water, I swear to God.
Hi, my name is Gillian Foxglove. I'm a professional cosplayer, AP producer. I do lots of different things across the internet, and I'm a Jill of all trades. So that's kind of my shtick.
Woo.
Hello, my name is Tanya DePass, longtime developer, both for tabletop and video games, internet ne'er-do-well, sometimes do good things, depends on my mood. And I have been around in the industry and in the space for about 12 years.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm the owner of Yaniir, which is a dice jewelry company. Before that, I was at Game Informer magazine for 6 years, so I've been on the video games and tabletops side of the industry. And Yaniir has a booth here at the con, 11054, if you want to come check us out.
Yeah. We hope that today you are a femme presenting creator yourself and you leave this panel feeling empowered and validated by hearing about our experiences and some of our professional insights. And for those of you with other gender expressions, we hope that you come away with this with new actionable ways to support the femme creators in your lives who you may know or want to work with. So, in the immortal words of Shania Twain, let's go, girls. Thank you.
That was for you.
So for you specifically.
The next one, we are going to be charging $12.
Royalties. All right, let's start with a very simple one. Open to anybody. What are some projects you've completed or worked on that left you feeling really empowered or that celebrated you specifically as a femme creator?
Can I mention one that sadly will never be completed, but due to things beyond my control?
Absolutely. As long as it's not an NDA.
No. For those who don't know, I was a senior writer on the Wonder Woman game. And the team, how do you think I feel? But the team that I was working with was mostly femme, non-binary, and we were crafting a fantastic story. You know, as someone who grew up watching Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, it was really cool to get to work on that. Don't look at me, look at Warner Brothers for that. But yeah, that was something that was very femme-focused, very femme-oriented team that was working on it. And even though it was only 2 years of my life, I will never let that go. I have a tattoo, I can never let it go.
There was so many creators that got to take part in AJ Winter's Castleton, and that was such a blending of people from all over the place, and obviously was led by a femme person, and I think being a part of such a huge community of people all telling a big, huge story, something that had never been done before, over 150 creators in a D&D campaign, is insane, and she she powerhoused through it, and it was so impressive how she managed to bring us all together to do that. So I think that was one of my favorite campaigns that I've been in.
Yeah.
I kissed 9 girls yesterday. That's great.
Excuse you.
One of them,
10.
10. Yeah, well, no. I'm gonna kiss 9 more girls today.
That's very femme-empowering, if you ask me.
I mean, I hope they would say so. But no, I guess yesterday I finally got to go back into directing again. I did this bit on my Twitch. I like to think that I'm funny. My mom thinks I'm great. But I did this one sub-goal, and the whole joke was for every level of a hype train, I kiss another woman. But I got to meet with these really awesome femme creators, and being able to work with them and give them stage direction and kind of take like the director's hat for, again, just silly video about kissing women. But I think that project was definitely, and it was yesterday, was a lot of fun. That, as well as my first panel at PAX was on Thursday with my meanie babini little bro, but that was also a good time. So.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking very recently with the marketing team from Gen Con, actually, and about how this year, 2026, God, what year is it? They're making a really big effort to center femme creators and femme designers and like product makers in the marketing initiatives for this year. And well, it's not done yet, but I am making something with them, and I'm excited to be part of that initiative.
I always knew you were a time traveler.
That rules. I have done this panel several times, and it is always such a fun celebration and window into the lives and experiences of other femme creators that I've met and befriended in this space. Obviously, because of respecting their work and wanting to collaborate on anything, because all of us are very busy. So panels are often that thing that can be sort of worked into schedules very easily because we're all going to congregate at a show anyway. But it's been very fun seeing this panel get the reception from both an audience perspective, but also from the creator side, and people being eager and excited to be on it and talk about, just the different side of this industry that I think a lot of femme creators experience uniquely. And for me, it has been a fun way to sort of like engage with the sisterhood of community of other creators that I've made in the last like 6 years of doing my show and meeting folks at places like PAX. However, let's talk about some examples of things which you think are maybe demanded or expected of you, but which you don't often receive credit for.
I'm my own boss. So I know I'm really demanding of myself, but at least I give myself the credit. So I don't know if I have a great answer for this one in particular.
Sure.
A lot of times just having ideas, either at the table or in business meetings, I mean, and this is outside of tabletop as well, is you have a great idea or you verbalize it and you're either talked over or a non-femme person in the room repeats literally what you have said. And they're like, oh, that's a great idea, we should do that. And you're like, was I talking to the air? I was just here. And also just expecting you to be like the auntie or the mom of the group, of like making sure everyone's okay and things like that. I have no children on purpose. Do not ask me to care about anyone that I have not, I'm not related to you by blood or by choice. And I just feel like there's an emotional caretaker expectation, regardless of whether or not that is a role or anything like that, to kind of soothe the group or things like that, be it at the table or at, other things.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have kind of an expectation on me to just be utterly serving at all times. And I say that as
You
a
do,
bit...
normally,
Oh,
just saying.
thank you so much. I have no choice. No, but Jokes aside, I also feel like there's a big emphasis on appearance and looks, making sure that my hair looks good, making sure that I've got my makeup just right. You know, otherwise some dude with no eyebrows in my comment section is gonna be like, your wings are uneven. But also having to like carry myself with a lot more like decorum and be put together and make sure that everything is good, because you know, like, I feel like a lot of times as like femmes and AFABs, you know, a lot of like our excitement can be perceived as too much or too loud or taking up like space and things like that. So, and if you aren't exactly perfect on point and if you look like a person as opposed to like a filter, I feel like you can oftentimes be seen as unkempt or unprofessional and not put together. Which, you know, sounds like, oh, no big deal, but it can cause a lot of stress too. Like, I had a little mental breakdown before I picked out this amazing fit this morning because I, you know, wanted to make sure.
Sunday.
It's Sunday. I know, but I want to be the best. I want to be hot and pretty and devastating, you know. But I would say, yeah, kind of like.
I'm just saying, Sundays are for mental breakdowns.
Oh, shut out! I've been doing Sundays right this whole time.
You really
then.
have. I think
there
you have.
There we go. Shout out. But yeah, I think there's a lot of emphasis on appearance and how you carry yourself.
On top of the many hats that I wear, I'm also a sex worker. And because I'm a sex worker, I have to convince everyone around me at all times, whether they are man, woman, or anything in between, that the things that I do are valid. That the hobbies that I have are valid, that the skills that I have are valid, that just being a nerd is real and not performative. And it makes it very hard to get into certain spaces and to be taken seriously just because of the nature of my work. And that's something I've encountered my entire career.
Yeah. I want to piggyback off what Maisie was talking about. The pressure of appearance, especially in the age of content creators and Instagram and, you know, just the very constantly polished but also completely faked and, you know, photoshopped and constructed way that people are presented as these sort of versions of themselves. If any of you can't recognize who I am from the graphic, it's because I have carefully constructed a version of myself with long red hair and a witch hat and the, you know, baddest fits I own. And it takes me an hour at least every morning of a con where I've been up until 2 a.m. talking to people and making deals for the business and also working from 8 to 6 in the expo hall and coordinating my team. And so, yeah. But if I don't dress up, then no one will remember me, recognize me, or give me the time of day. Because when I am myself, I become invisible, or in some cases, a trans woman. Oh my God, the worst thing one could be. And whether it is conscious or not, there is instantly a barrier there for a lot of people, even if they might proclaim to be an ally, because you are suddenly tall, have a slightly deeper register because you've been killing your voice all weekend, and do not have, you know, the energy to be up here all the time. I have also experienced very recently, especially leading up to this event, some of the worst, I won't officially label it gaslighting, but people telling me a thing and assuming that I'm the one that's wrong when I'm saying like, hey, this is an urgent issue, this information has changed and I was not made aware of this. And then they go, no, that was always the right information. And then I forward them the receipts. And I say, check your numbers and why wasn't I told and what am I supposed to do about this? I've paid money to create assets. And then when I call other people to freak out and say, hey, I'm in a really bad spot, my mental health is in the crapper and I'm upset and I'm using hyperbolic language, and then I get laughed at because, Nat, you're so funny when you're upset. Really? I'm telling you I'm on the edge. And you are saying, oh, it's humorous how, you know, emotional you're getting over this. So that's been a lot to deal with leading up to this show in particular, but it is, I'm sure, happening constantly to a lot of people in the same way. Anybody else want to add anything before we move on?
The only other thing I would add is also when you are a non-man and a person of color and queer and visible, And a lot of people assume that you are not competent, that you're a hanger-on, or that you must be new. I don't know how many times people have assumed it's my first game of something, or I just showed up. And then I just remind them that I'm older than D&D. Please stop talking to me, child. Because I have no chill, none.
All right, let's see. We'll go into industry practices for our next question. Are there certain standards or industry practices or behavior that you feel are inherently unfair or present additional and unnecessary challenges for femme creators, but not others? And if there are some very basic guidelines you would suggest for anyone to work with and uplift femme creators, what would you want them to know?
I have thoughts, but I don't want to talk too much on the panel.
It's a panel. We have 45 minutes.
I know, but I want to not be the super yappy person.
The audacity of you to talk at the talk.
I know. Well, I mean, no. As someone who moderates a lot of panels, I try to be mindful of those on the panel as well and be a good member of the panel.
We got time, Tanya. Hit him with the spice.
So, one, use the internet for good for once. And look into what people are doing, what they're talking about. Is someone like a horror streamer? Are they someone who does maybe a lot of vampire? And go out and do your research and invite people to the table. Don't expect them to come to you. And also understand that if you're a mask-presenting person, perceived as masculine, and you come to a femme person, there may be a level of distrust, just because historically, all the things in which we're like, I don't know about you, you have treated femme people not well. And also don't do things like, oh, look, we made products aimed at women and it's all pink, or it's girly, it's what have you. Never make assumptions about people based on what you perceive them as. And the best practice is be professional, be upfront. To steal from the networking panel, be a decent human being and remember that you are talking to another human being. And also keep it professional unless you become good friends. Because people get over-familiar in this space very quick, and I'm going to beg you all stop using Facebook as a way to network. I have so many random Facebook requests from people I have never met. We have 20 people in common, and they just try to add me. It is not a networking tool. Use the internet for good, or if you're here at an event or PAX Unplugged, take time to actually talk to folks, get the information, see what they're into, and talk to them one-on-one like a professional. Because if you're not, this is a real small industry. We all will know real quick that you are not about that business.
I would say also the amount that you are reaching out to women and femme creators with opportunities to be a part of something, the amount you are inviting them to speak about something, double it. Because studies have shown that our perception of how much women and femmes speak or take up space or are involved in certain projects, the perception is so much higher than the actual reality. So whatever you're already doing, you probably think it's enough and it's probably not. And there's statistics to back that up.
I am quite young. I'm 26, and I'm usually one of the younger people in the room at any of these events. And the people that hold the keys to the gate, if you will, are usually in their 30s or 40s, and they are well established in this industry. And I find that I get taken a lot less seriously just by being the audacity to be born in the year 2000. And so it's frustrating sometimes to try and convince people that I am capable of being professional and I can be taken seriously and I do good work. And so I think just, especially if you are in this industry, to be aware that there is a generation behind you that is coming up and that we need to learn and we need our own opportunities as well. And that's think something that people can be more aware of.
Yeah. There's a phrase that I say a lot, and it's, I'm not trying to be perfect, I'm trying to be good. And with that, I don't fear being corrected, I fear stagnation. So one of the other things is if somebody is willing to correct you on a behavior that you didn't realize may have been harmful or problematic, you need to take yourself out of that centering, and you need to understand that that is actually an action of trust. That is a person telling you that they know you can do better, that they want you to do better, and that they want to feel safe with you, and they are giving you the tools to do so. As somebody who also has rejection sensitivity dysphoria, I know it can be a pain in the patookus, but one of the big things that I've noticed that makes me kind of feel distant is when I feel like people are treating me like I'm made of glass, or they cover me in bubble wrap, and they don't treat me like a person, they treat me like a woman who's been through a lot of stuff. And it almost makes me feel like I've been deprived of the chance to be a person, or they try to go too far, and they're like, oh, I don't even see that you're a woman, you're just one of the guys. Like, no, I'm a woman, I just say the F word a lot, But I think that's a big thing here, is that a lot of people will either immediately lock up if being corrected and be like, no, I didn't mean to do that, or they'll go over the top and just make me feel uncomfortable when I'm like, hey, I know you didn't mean to do this, but this can be interpreted as this, I know you didn't have any ill intentions, and then they go on a full thing about oh my God, I feel so bad, and then I feel like I almost have to console them. Learning is never shameful, and you gotta get that out of your head. Correction is a gift, it is a blessing.
It's redirection.
Somebody is trying to help you level up, okay? And sometimes level ups come after a harder moment. Sometimes, it's not fun, but you become better, and you need to allow yourself that. Don't take it personally, and again, acknowledge that it is a person calling you in, not attacking.
Can I add in one quick thing?
Yeah.
So this is going to be me reminding people that if you have beef with someone, it does not need to be on the internet. We are adults. This whisper networking has to stop in our industry and others. And unless it involves money or someone going to jail, you don't need to tell everybody and their mother about the hate you have for XYZ person. Too many people that have, like you said, made mistakes, but not gotten a chance to be called in by people who are trying to help them, have been run out of the industry, or we don't hear from them because it has now become we must destroy you and all that came before you, versus maybe you just made an honest mistake. Maybe this person just honestly doesn't know better. So I would love it if we could stop the childish, I'm going to put all my business on the internet and then be Pikachu face when someone brings it up to me at a convention, online. If you have beef with people, learn to handle it like adults, because again, this will affect your business. And people don't want to work with you if you are a problem or perceived as such.
I think, too, you don't want to assume the structure of groups and organizations that you may want to work with. If you're here looking for work, or looking to collaborate, or looking for opportunities to pitch your project to someone. I can't tell you how often I've had some of my mask presenting staff at the booth, and someone will be asking them about the show, and then, be like, so how can I get in touch with you so we can talk about this more? And they have to direct the person to me, and I'm in the back talking to somebody else, or on my phone answering an email or something from one of our suppliers, and they go, oh, Natalie's in charge. And people are always like, oh. And it's that double-edged sword too of being so dressed up. They're like, oh, she must be the pretty talent. And it's like, no, I'm also running everything too. I can't tell you how many times when I'm going around, asking to speak to the marketing director, or the head of operations, or the productions manager, and it's a femme presenting person who is quietly doing all of the work in the background while a bunch of guys who can speak loudly in a room are out there just getting the attention. And I think it's a very pervasive thing I've noticed, especially in the games industry, where you have all these very overworked, overstressed, overburdened, very burned out femmes sort of propping up and supporting a project that a man had the original idea of, but then couldn't be arsed to actually make it function or sustainable. So I'll use that to lead into our next topic, which is burnout. Uh, yeah, it's Sunday. We're having fun. Many of us have experienced it at one time or another, or maybe currently experiencing it. Can any of us speak to how your gender and other marginalizations has intersected with your experiences with and around burnout?
I feel like you're not allowed to show it. Because as a femme or woman creator or business owner, the moment you're perceived as like, oh, maybe she can't hack it, suddenly opportunities will disappear, or people will, like, there's snakes in the grass in every industry, and when someone sees a moment of weakness, maybe they're thinking, oh, how can I take advantage of this? So it kind of ties in with what you were saying about, presentation being so important all the time. You can't really show when you're burnt out, and all of us are burnt out.
For me, there's the additional, as a black femme, there's the assumption, well, a lot of people treat us like we're not human, or that we don't have emotions, or you're strong, you can handle it. And the minute you show weakness, it goes from you're strong to, oh, are you okay? If you get, are you okay? It's just the assumption of, oh, I didn't think that things like this could bother you, or that you could get burned out. You seem to have it together. Assumptions make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah.
And it's very exhausting because I will just tell people, and I've been telling people all weekend, if they ask how I am, do you want the honest or the polite answer? And if I like you enough, you'll get the honest answer. But with burnout, I feel like we do talk about it, but like you said, the perception. And people have an idea of success. How dare you be burnt out? How dare you not appreciate this level of success you've gotten? Spoiler, we're all humans. And the industry and the state of the world is frankly enough to make all of us just want to curl up in bed every single day. So for me, I just started telling people, not today, Satan. I ain't got it in me. I'm going back to bed. Try again tomorrow.
I think anyone that's been a creator knows that the content train is never ending, and you must stay on it if you want to win. And I think that's an important thing, but at the same time, I think something that I don't hear talked about as much is the fact that if you are burned out and at an event and you are a little bit shorter, you're not as kind, you don't take as much time for each individual that comes up to you. It's so much faster that we get labeled a bitch. As women, we're just so quick for people to just be like, oh, she's not nice, because we didn't just go, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. I know so much about you, and everything you do is so good. Like, if we don't go the extra mile, and we're just like, hi, then they're like, oh, she sucks. So it gets very frustrating that if you are at the last of your energy, you still have to find it in yourself to put on this very extra kindness.
For me, I think a lot of my issues with burnout are driven by a lot of spite, which is knowing that there are some people out there who think that my career is only mine because I'm hot, which I'm sure it doesn't hurt, but So for me, one of the things that I've had to remember and remind myself is that labor that you love is still labor, and it can be very, very easy to tell yourself that you don't have a right to be burnt out. You are working your dream job. You don't get to feel like this. And then also this extra drive of, no, I need to show these assholes out there that, no, I am gonna kick butt, take names, I'm gonna get this done, I'm gonna push through that, because I know that there's a lot of people out there who see me as just see woman and assume that I'm not gonna do as much, and I find myself sometimes pushing myself even harder out of spite and to prove people wrong, and that gets really exhausting. But at the end of the day, some things that I learned that helped me with burnout, a good friend of mine pointed out that There is no linear growth. I've been going to the gym more. I never talk about it, but you have times when you're at the gym where you hit a personal record, and then some weeks you're going to be 10 pounds lighter. You're not able to light it. Success is not linear, and any linear success is done artificially. It is done through, if you see a company getting perfect success, it's because they're firing people to get that net profit up. You are a meat suit. You are not a robot. You cannot fire people. So you are meant to have ups and downs because that's part of being alive. So
Jumping off of the attraction is your only reason you have an audience. I have word for word had a family member tell me that the only reason I have a viewing on Twitch is because I'm a woman. You know?
which is dumb
Stuff
and just wrong.
Exactly, but it's stuff like that where it's like, it's fully just not understanding the industry and how hard it is to even break into it in the first place, and that how much of it is actually just it's luck. There is so much luck involved with this job. Yes, there is hard work. Yes, there is understanding algorithms and trying to get better at marketing and all these things, but there is still a lot of luck involved. And those algorithms, they disproportionately put down Black creators. They disproportionately put down marginalized communities. And there is things that are working against you in a lot of these cases that aren't seen.
Yeah.
One thing I'll share too is, and this is from M, the producer and creative director over at Blackwater D&D, and Fair's take on burnout, and one of the points that Faye makes is that when you are burned out, every one of your other marginalized identities becomes that much harder to deal with. So anything you are struggling with, you're going to struggle with 10 times as much when you have absolutely no spoons and nothing left in the tank. It's why taking care of yourself and finding ways to sort of even crawl desperately towards some amount of rest are so important, because it will compound and it will add up over time. And I know I feel it all the time. On days where I'm really just absolutely shot out and cannot, feel confident in myself, those are the days where I have to say, all right, you are not under any time limit to put your armor on, right, and get ready and get that face ready to then walk out and make sure that you don't show a crack. Because like Jen was saying, if there's any slip, right, then suddenly people don't want to talk about, the work that you're supposed to be discussing, or, the job the two of you are trying to get done together. It's suddenly, oh, are you okay? You should maybe take a break, maybe sit back. And it's like, no, what I could use is help, not to be pandered to or told that, like, oh, well, just slow down. It's like, I can't. How am I supposed to slow down if I'm already working this hard and it's still not working, right? It doesn't feel like you have the option, because part of your identity, at least for me, is that you can start to feel that who I am as a hardworking person, people start to think of you that way, and suddenly if it's like, actually, tonight, I'm gonna, get food that I don't need to be eating, play an actual game at a gaming convention, and not try to make 15 new contacts for my Rolodex. And sure, is that, wasting an opportunity? It depends how you look at it, because if I get to do that and it keeps me going for the rest of the weekend to lead my team out of here, then it was worth it to do that. So please look after yourselves. You will feel the worst about yourself the more burned out you get, and that's just natural. And I think there's a phrase I heard recently, I think it was from a song, and it's sort of what I've been telling people when they say, how are you? I'm doing amazing, and I'm the worst I've ever been. And that is, I think, often very true for people who have big plans and big ambitions, and like you were saying, a desire to break in to an industry that has all these barriers of just, you have to make friends, you have to get a lucky break, you have to be in the right place at the right time. Yeah, it can really take a toll if you're not careful and don't surround yourself with good people that will force you to rest and look after yourself and quiet those voices in you that say like, oh man, if I don't, make sure I have the perfect fit this morning, like people are gonna hate me or someone's gonna say something that'll just like shatter what little structure that is keeping me upright I have left. If you were gonna prepare someone looking to enter this industry, again, a very like new femme creators, what are some warnings or cautionary advice you'd share with them that we maybe haven't covered yet so far?
This is more an encouraging advice than cautionary. I'm gonna
Sure.
like bring up the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
After the burnout talk. Find your community early and find them in other femme creators especially. They're such a key to avoiding feeling like the ways that we were just describing is finding the people who will be candid with you, who will be kind with you, who will lift you up, who will like pull you up as they climb. And there are so many people willing and eager to do that. You just have to find your community. And I've been in a really fortunate position where I'm like surrounded by super, super wonderful people who do that for me. And it's like, it's how I'm crawling out of burnout right now. And I just want that for everybody. And I think if you are just kind and genuine and you want the best for everyone else as much as you want it for yourself, you're gonna find those people because they are out here. And I think a ton of them are right here at this table. And yeah.
My advice is to not think of anyone that you meet as what they can do for you, but what you can do for them. I think one of the biggest parts of community that people sometimes, when they struggle to make good connections, it's because they are sometimes accidentally treating people like they have something to give them, when in truth, if you want to form connections, some of them are formed naturally as just chemistry and friendships, but when they're more business connections, it's how can I help you? And then in turn, they'll help you in return if it's a good long-term relationship. I think the biggest rookie mistake is just trying to have people fawn over you instead of vice versa.
I was gonna say, the prospect of vanity is often used as sort of a club to bludgeon any form of self-confidence out of women and femmes especially. Do not let people take your spark, your confidence, anything, because for a lot of people who are insecure, a confident woman or AFAB is absolutely freaking terrifying. Lean into it. Not everyone is going to like you, and that is good, because if everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong. And it means that you are just simply agreeable with everyone, and there are some really gross people out there that you don't want to like you. You want to ruin somebody's day, when your name is brought up in a circle, and you got to lean into that, right? And, if you're going to lean into that, you're going to find the people that you like, and people are inevitably not going to like you. You might as well do it as you, and be unapologetically you. Take up space. Also, stop apologizing so much. Start saying instead of, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm late. Thank you so much for waiting. Reframing that, but take up space, be confident, and don't be scared to hit somebody with a no. And as a family friend once said to me, and I live by it, is get your bitch on. If somebody makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to tolerate that. Like, stand your ground and be there for you.
Saving that one for later. I'm taking
yeah, no, I do the winter soldier walk.
Bitch on.
Like, if I need to get somewhere, I do like the Bucky Barnes death, like, get your bitch on.
Have the caucasity of a white man.
Genuinely, one of my
I'm
mentors
sorry, that
told
does
me
not apply to me. My one thing is because, stop apologizing was there. But look at people as collaborators, not competition.
Yes.
Too many of us act like you must be the chosen one. We act
It's
like we're
not
here in the
pie.
Highlander. What?
It's not pie.
I know. What? There's two pies? Yes.
No, it's like if I get some love, then you can't have any love.
Right? And, just also stop just being catty. I'm just going to say it. Stop being catty bitches out here. Look, I'm the old black chick on the panel. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. There are too many people, that judge someone based on their looks, their perceived prettiness or things like that. And, I've been on Twitch for 12 years. I have seen this. I have seen it a lot. I've seen it in physical spaces. And as a personal note, I've been on a weight loss journey / fitness journey, and I have very much noticed the different ways in which people treat me now than when I was 115 pounds heavier. And it is very telling. And I don't know if people are conscious that they're doing it, but the unintentional bias, just simply based on how someone looks, how large their body is, are just, I've never heard of you, who are you? So let's look at other people, especially other femme, them, non-men, as collaborators. Like, I adore Yaniir's jewelry. I have much of their jewelry. And if we ever got a chance to work together, that would make me over the moon. But I've never looked at Yaniir as like, oh, competition, because I can't make anything. I can pour some real bad dice, and that's about it. And then, we stream on Twitch. I want to come support you. I'm going to be in your chat hyping you up versus like, look at her, she's just pretty. Nobody cares about this. That is not a way to behave or to act. Because again, people will know, and they will know that you're a gossip, you're a gatekeeper, you are a bad apple, so to speak. So collaboration, not competition.
Yeah. There's a phrase you will hear a lot, which is a rising tide lifts all ships. And I have sort of recently, within the last year, come to view that as a very empty platitude. It is not actually how this industry works at all. A rising tide can lift one ship, and the rest might go underwater. However, there is a better metaphor, which I have come to embrace, which is that this is a hike. We are all climbing the mountain. We are all getting up that hill. And sometimes you're going to be the one scouting, leading the pack, because you've got energy, you've got momentum, you've found a trail, and you're able to blaze it, and everyone else might be a little behind you. You will not be the leader for long, because going uphill is exhausting. So if you have to sit down, then someone else, hopefully, if you have people that are supporting you and part of your community, is going to maybe pass you. And now they're ahead, and they're going to lead the way. As long as you are throwing the rope back so that someone else can climb up behind you, then you have not closed a door, and you have not taken a spotlight away from someone that they weren't able to then step into when they had the chance to be in the lead. I think it is much more important to think of it as an active group activity than a effect which could be manifested somehow through positive power of friendship nonsense, right? You want to be friendly, you want to be kind, but at the end of the day, this is an industry, there is work to be done, and when you get tired, you should take a break. And when other people have things that go well for them, you say, cool, did they throw the rope back for me? Then I want to keep hiking with that person. Did they celebrate their success, and they seem to only ever celebrate their success with a very closed circle? All right, they're not looking to collaborate. They're on their own thing. They might be on a whole different mountain. Fine. Don't worry about them then. Look for people that are going to want to walk with you and recognize that it's going to be a walk. It's going to be a long time before you see any returns on a lot of work that you put in. This is sort of more general advice. Like, this is not just for femme creators, but patience and your stamina are going to be really important. Your resilience is going to be really important, and your ability to enjoy the view when you get a nice one, I think really matters. Let's see what we got left for questions. We could talk about ourselves some more, but we've got 15 minutes. We want to do a little Q&A? I think there's a mic there that's hooked up. If anyone has a question and wants to pose it to the panel, now's your chance.
Hi, I was wondering if there are ever any moments where you feel like early, especially early in your career, that you made it, or kind of, I know it's probably a continual cycle, but if there are like any particular memories or things that stick out to you, they're like, yeah, I belong here.
I have one. I am a professional cosplayer, and the past year I have been working with Catan, and I made them a cosplay, and I've been working, like actually making money, being paid as a cosplayer, and I think that was a very good moment for me. It's not the first time, but it was Catan is a well-known name, and so that was a very, that made me feel a lot of pride in what I do.
I think for me, it's probably twofold. This last year, I started showcasing at some bigger and bigger conventions, all of the PAXs I finally got under my belt, and just the feedback from the community at the convention and from the showrunners themselves it's just flattened me how enthusiastic and glowing it was, and to get that kind of feedback from people of that station was really impactful, and it made me feel really good about what I had accomplished. And then in that same year, I also ran my first Kickstarter, and it went gangbusters, and then that was further confirmation.
Congratulations.
In a combination of all of that external validation, but then also just a real internal sense of accomplishment, because yeah, I did all that basically alone. And if that doesn't make me feel like I made it, I don't know what can.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm still not there, so.
For me,
I think you're here. You're on this panel.
I think for me, it was the first time somebody recognized me when I was in public, and they went, "Hey, I don't know if anybody ever tells you that. You look like this one person I felt, Maisie Lynn." And I went, "Oh boy, do I have something silly to tell you right now. Boy, you're not gonna believe this, bud." Especially because it was at a Renaissance fair and it wasn't at an event.
That was my
I
first
going.
place too.
Yeah, what is going on? I love it, but
It's because the Renaissance fairs are our brand.
But I think one of the big things too, especially if you're trying to get into this industry, and if you're somebody like me who is very emotional and might have some things wrong upstairs, just a little bit, is you don't have to wait for the moment that you feel like you've made it to appreciate everything you've done. You don't put the pressure on yourself to have that moment. Don't think that just because you haven't had that moment that you haven't made it or that you haven't done well. Because that's one of the things that I've noticed is I'll put pressure on myself to feel a certain way, or, oh, I'm only this if X, Y, Z. Look at the little things in your life, changes in sentences. My friends will point out to me, I was on an episode of Go My Favorite Sports Team, and as my assistant reminds me, hey, whenever you're doubting yourself, you need to remember that you were on Go My Favorite Sports Team with Tyler Scheid. Calm down, So have people to uplift you and support you, but don't put pressure on yourself to feel like you're gonna get one of those.
well, thank y'all so much for taking a moment to dwell on some of your wins.
Yeah. I think
Thank
for
you.
me, my face is on the LCD screen at this event. Yeah, I mean, I had my first live show on Friday. Thank you to everybody who came, if you came to that one. But like Maisie was saying, there's wins along the way, and you should celebrate those things. And sometimes you'll be surprised by the part of a win, because wins can come in packages, right? I've been doing vending here at PAX for the last 3 years. Last year was sort of our really big breakout where we built a forest in a couple weeks and then brought it inside. And I remember when we put up the booth for the first time, it was like, wow, we really pulled it off. And that feels good, and that's an accomplishment, but someone with my background and enough drive and determination and a little bit of money to invest could have done that. But the thing that really hit me last year was that the booth became a hub for creators and people that we had met in the space. And the same thing this year, where yes, the live show is very cool. Did I feel like I belonged by pulling that off? No, it felt like I did my job and was good at networking and making connections and landing that deal. But when I was all up in my feels about it at the end of the night and went over to the Omni and cried upstairs for an hour while many people just sat and hugged me and said you're working so hard, you're doing such a good job. I don't know if you can feel more like you belong than that. So.
Hey y'all, thanks for the panel. And when I meet someone, like a lot of the themes here were like be a person, treat people like people. I struggle with that when I meet someone who I only know from the internet. I get overawed immediately, forget how to speak English.
I cried when I
thoughts
met
go out
Matt
my head.
Mercer, don't you worry.
Wait,
Don't you worry.
Well, you two might be that person for me, so.
Here's what I suggest is, first of all, you're allowed to feel your feelings. I got into cosplay because of Laura Bailey and Matt Mercer, like a long time ago. And so when you meet your heroes, you can feel that. You can cry, you can feel that feeling, and you can like do everything you can to try and be normal in the moment, because I tried really hard to like not just lose it, and then about 5 seconds after went to my friend Yaniir and then collapsed. But we're human, they're human, and they understand. They have people like that for them too. I guarantee you that when they meet other people that they look up to, that they feel just as like, oh my God. And the need to be seen, that's what that is. It's a need to be seen and have control over the way that you're perceived. And it's okay, you know? It's okay, because the people that you like most of the time, they're people that think and love and feel like you, and they're going to have empathy for you just as much as they would hope that someone would have empathy for them.
I would also add on to that and say, as somebody who, I have a really amazing community, and a lot of them do have like social anxiety and stuff like that. I've always interpreted the treat them like a person to mean don't expect them to be like perfect. They might have an off day. They might not. For me, I sometimes my mask slips a little bit and I have a raging RBF. So for me, the treat them like a person is less like don't get nervous around them, but instead don't expect them to be the, like my person on the screen, like, oh my God, yeah, I'm doing all this and you want me to do like, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't expect me to be performing for you, like be aware that I'm a person. But for me, I think it's genuinely so wholesome when somebody is clearly nervous to talk to me. It makes my day a little bit, because one, I'm proud of you. Social anxiety is a bitch. And like you powered through that to come and say hi to me. All I feel is joy. And two, it makes me feel like, wow, I've made a profound impact on this person to where they're nervous to talk to me. And for me,
I'm honored.
I'm honored. Like, I don't take offense to that. That doesn't bug me. Like, if somebody comes up to me, I can tell they're socially anxious. I will carry the conversation for you, Pookie. I'm just happy that you're there talking to me. Like, I'm gonna just figure out how we're gonna be able to communicate. But that's never been an issue for me. The issue is usually when they're like, I've never had this happen.
Hey,
but like,
hey, Maisie, can I touch your butt? Maisie.
You want to touch a jail cell? Yeah, no, people who are nervous or people who might be like a little bit like, starstruck, I'm just like, wow, they think I'm really cool. Shout out.
If anything, you're giving us an ego trip. So.
Genuinely, you're giving me a God complex and you're giving me one of those I made it moments. So you be nicer to you, dog. Like, I got you.
Thank you.
So much of this job is putting your stuff out there onto a void of the internet and waiting for someone to comment a nice thing, as opposed to something objectifying or mean or just like randomly chaotic.
Theory.
Yeah. I always see it as this person clearly appreciates the art and the work that I'm doing, and I want to make sure that I'm expressing to them how much it means that they're engaging with it, right, and getting something out of it, because part of me can't help but want to create, but there is a part that also wants that stuff that I create to be appreciated, so.
I want to have something useful, but I am still stuck on, you want to talk to me? Why? I'm a regular person. I do not, for me, I'm just like, I guess, hi? Because I've had people like, will literally do a run by, I follow you on Twitter, Blue Sky, goodbye, and then they don't stop and talk to me. And then I'm like, hey, come back. Well, no, because for me, if someone makes a point of stopping and saying hello, especially at a con where you can be overwhelmed, I'm a very anxious little turtle, and I often run away from interactions. But to me, it's like you said, it's an honor. Someone has stopped, or especially if you're kind of just walking around and they made a point of saying hi to you, and I'm thankful. But in the back of my mind, I'm always like, oh my God, why did you want to talk to me? It's just me. And that's not being a weird humble brag. It's literally how my brain works.
Yeah.
So for me, like what I do isn't, I'm not really like a public face of anything. I speak through my work and my art, and that's a big part of why I really enjoy working behind my own booth, despite the fact that like I could pay other people to do that for me, is that every once in a while, folks will come up and they'll tell me how much the jewelry means to them. They'll talk about how like they are really shy, but they really want to talk about their interests, which is D&D, and wearing dice on their jewelry sparks conversations for them, and they've made like meaningful friendships and connections and love interests in some cases, just because they had something there displaying their passion on their body, and the like genuine glee about it that some people have, it will just make my day. And it's really, really touching, and I get something out of that every con that I go to, so, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you
on.
all.
I think we got time for one more if we do it quick.
Hi, so I'm not in this industry, but I have a loved one who is, and I was wondering if you have any suggestions for like, I feel like being like a responsible consumer is one thing, and like a responsible member of like when it comes to like online communities, but when it comes to like people who are like close to you, how can they help support you like as femme creators in the industry? Thank you.
I think that question really involves a lot of what you want as the loved one. Like that's a personal journey. My husband is my literally everything. He's my editor, he's my filmer, he's my photographer. Like he's also a creator though, and he wants this, and that's something that he wants, and he's extroverted, and this is also his passion. So that's what he chose. That's a choice. Your choice can be less than that. It's still valid to be there to support their emotions, to build them up when they don't feel like they can do it, to be there for them. There's so many degrees of how you can be there for your loved one or your friends or anyone in this industry, is just by being there to listen to them when they go, I think I suck and everyone hates me, and then you respond, that's not true. Like there's so many different degrees and it all matters, because I wouldn't be able to do this without my close friends being able to tell me that I don't suck.
Yeah. I think, no, go ahead, you first.
Have friends that you can have those tough conversations with. Have friends that are not going to bullshit you, but also that will let you sit with your feelings. My friend in the back in the very cute Eevee jacket is that friend for me. I can text her or message and go, I'm having a day, I'm feeling things, do you have time to talk, or can we talk later? And also having someone that will let you sit in your feelings and not try to ooh-woo you out of it is someone you should never let go out of your life, because there are times where I just want to quit. And I can have a real conversation with her. And, you know, for all the friends that I have, all the people that I have in my life, having a close-knit group of femme friends that get it, especially if they're also in the industry, is invaluable.
I think you want to make sure that if you're supporting someone in any way, in any capacity, whether it's this industry, emotionally, with their relationship, etc., take action. Actions are far more impactful than another, well, we believe in you. I can't tell you how many of that is sitting in a wallet that I can't cash in, or that after so many pile up feel at all valuable, or I don't want to say valuable. It's always nice to hear, but it is not often restorative or actually supportive to your mental state if you've been working as hard as a lot of the people up here have been. My brother-in-law and sister wanted to come down to the show. They could not. They sent me $100. They were just like, hey, good luck with the show. We love you. Like, and it doesn't have to be financial. It can be a phone call. It can be literally showing up to not attend the con, but to like help move someone in. or make sure that their hotel is booked. Booking things for people is such an emotionally like draining thing when you have all this other stuff going on. So there are actions you can take to support someone, even if you have no interest or no like skill that could be applied to the work that they're doing. And I think that's really important.
I would also just chime in and say, ask.
Yeah,
Genuinely.
yeah.
Sometimes one of the best things that, my assistant can do is he goes, hey, what's bothering you today? How can I fix it, you goober? Never be scared to ask, Plus, just knowing people are taking the time to want to help you, that helps in and of itself.
And with that, we're out of time. Thank you guys for being here.
Y'all mind if we get a group shot?
Yeah.